Now recently, Tesla overtook General Motors as one of the most valuable automakers in the United States. This feat would have been improbable 13 years back when the electric car maker first started even thinking about the idea of tinkering with sports cars. Now this shows an interesting trend that people have finally started warming up to the idea of electric cars, and that the driverless car myth might soon be busted soon. Now I don't know if this is an exciting time for all you car lovers out there, but the next 30 minutes, well, they're very well served for you, and it doesn't get more exciting than this. Welcome to this week's episode of WION Pitstop. So let's get the wheels rolling and get started with our first segment, the Power Bulletin, where we get you all the latest auto updates from across the globe. It was a sad day when the Gallardo stopped its reign as the baby Lambo after more than a decade introduction after a few tweaks and changes. Now its replacement, the Huracan, is carrying the mantle and going on with the legacy of the baby Lambo. Now what it lacks in outlandish style, it more than makes up for with sheer performance. And this legendary Lamborghini has finally hit the Indian soil.
Lamborghini Huracan Performante, which was shown off at 2017 Geneva Motor Show, has been launched in India with a starting price tag of 3.97 crore. Huracan Performante will be the third car of Lamborghini to launch in India after the Huracan RWD Spider and the Aventador S. 6:5:2.01. This is what defines the Lamborghini Huracan Performante. The numbers represent the time taken by the Huracan Performante to cover a lap around the Nürburgring Nordschleife. This makes it faster than the Porsche 918 Spider and the Aventador SV around the circuit. The new Lamborghini Huracan Performante is powered by 5.2-litre V10 engine, which is used in standard Huracan, but Lamborghini has made some update in the engine, which includes titanium valves, revised intake and lighter exhaust, which makes the car a beast. Because of these updates, the engine now produces 630 brake horsepower and develops 600 Nm of peak torque. The motor comes mated with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. The double wishbone suspension from the all-wheel drive coupe has been stiffened for better road and track performance on the Performante, and there is also an optional Magnetor Heological adjustable suspension which makes the handling even better. The Lamborghini Huracan Performante is the first Huracan with the Performante badge. It is not only a supercar but also a statement from the Italian that they are in no way behind the competition.
Now even German car maker Audi had a pleasant surprise to offer as they launched the facelift of the Audi A3.
The Indian arm of German premium automaker Audi India launched an updated version of Audi A3 sedan. Audi A3 sedan is the youngest and smallest sedan in Audi's India's portfolio and was first launched in September 2014 and now is more aligned to Audi's family design language. The sedan now gets a new fresh and aggressive face with revised headlights with LED DRLs and dynamic indicators. Overall, the dimension of the car and the platform remains unchanged. The rear of the car gets a revised tail light and a revised bumper. Now the car looks very similar to the Audi A4. As Audi India completed 10 years in India, here's what Rahil Ansari, head of Audi India, had to say.
10 years in India makes us very proud. It's a very special occasion for us. Having said this, we have a customer base of more than 60,000 in India, We have 94 customer touch points. Yeah, that means showrooms, workshops, and approved plus, so used car facilities. And we're looking at expanding this within the next year to come. Even this year, we'll definitely cross the 100 customer touch points, and we'll definitely create more halo effects for our customers in India, not only this year, but also in the years to come.
What's new is the petrol engine in the Audi A3, which is the 1.4-litre TFSI petrol motor replacing the existing 1.8-litre TFSI engine. It is the same unit that does duty on the new Gen Audi A4 and even the Q3 and makes 148 bhp and develops 250 Nm of torque. This motor comes mated to a 7-speed S-tronic automatic gearbox. Indian cricketer Ravi Shastri is a brand ambassador of brand Audi and has some interesting things to say about the car.
You know, it's 10 years Audi have been in India, and they've shown why people go for the latest models, because they have something different. You know, they have that X factor that want people to buy the new models. And I see no difference with the two models you're seeing here today. They've always cracked the code, you know, of being the best in the world, you know, and they'll give any maker a run for their money. There's no question about that. 10 years ago, you might not have said that. Today, you jolly well say it.
The petrol variant of the sedan is priced at 35 lakh rupees and the diesel variant costs 32.30 lakh rupees.
Now, if you remember, then in last week's episode, we did a special feature story on BMW Motorrad entering India. We also gave you the finer points about BMW's plans of entering the Indian market. 1 week down the road, we have all the details that you need to know about BMW's grand entry in India.
BMW Motorrad is all set to rev in India's two-wheeler motorcycle market. BMW has officially commenced its India operations and released the prices of its products that would soon be available here. The two-wheeler arm of the German manufacturer is now setting up sales and service network in the country, which would soon be seen in Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Mumbai and Pune. BMW Motorrad, which has tied up with TVS Motor Company for manufacture of sub-500cc bikes, has commenced its operations by naming the head of its motorcycle operations in India as also its dealership plans. The company sells premium motorcycles across segments: sports, tourer, roadster, heritage and adventure. Its dealerships in India will display premium bikes in the category of 1000cc to 600cc, which will be available as completely built-up units. However, the company has not disclosed any details about the launch of sub-500cc bikes being manufactured and exported out of TVS Motors production unit in Hosur. The pricing of these bikes is expected to be between 14.90 lakh and 28.50 lakh rupees.
Well, time now to cut into a short break, but don't go anywhere as we have a whole bunch of cool stories lined up just for you. Stay tuned. You're watching WION Pitstop, your one-stop for all the latest auto updates across the globe. Now, without wasting any more time, let's move on to our next segment, Spec Check. Nissan Terrano was first globally launched in 1985. It's in its 4th generation today, and in India, the car has been given a facelift for the 3rd time. I was very curious to check out the latest model, and so I did. Take a look at what I thought about the car and whether it's worth investing 10 lakh of your rupees in. market, that's right, Nissan has given the car a facelift for the third time. This time around, it comes with 22 new features, mostly on the interiors. Now, the last two times, the cars didn't really find a lot many takers in the Indian market. But will it work this time? Well, let's take a closer look at all the newly added features and tell you all about it.
The Nissan Terrano facelift render features a new front face profile, replete with a refreshing chrome grille, flanked by inverted L-shaped LED DRLs and a projector setup in the headlamp section on either side. A reworked front bumper that houses a news air dam and a redesigned fog lamp section that now features honeycomb inserts. The side profile of the 2017 Nissan Terrano remains unchanged except for a new design of the alloy wheels. At the rear, the model features LED tail lamps and a redesigned bumper.
Now, this model of Terrano comes with a 1.5-litre diesel engine that gives you 108 horsepower and 245 Nm of torque. Power is delivered to the front two wheels with a 6-speed gearbox. Also included in the package is brake assist with EBD and the hill assist system. One thing that they've added in this model of Terrano, which was missing in the last one, is the updated infotainment system. It comes with a 7-inch screen, it's got an inbuilt navigation system. You can pair it with your iPod, your Bluetooth, but surprisingly, the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are missing from this. The car also has cruise control and the fold-in handrest for the driver, which works really well. On the stiffer side, yes, but it is a boon of sorts as the car is able to maintain its composure over bad roads. There is some amount of back roll because of the high stance of the SUV, but again because of the stiff suspension, the car is surprisingly agile even on corners.
Overall, the car is well balanced and you love cruising in it. It's a car that will make you feel in control all the time, as if both your hands are free to be on the steering wheel.
Terrano is a great alternative for those looking for a ride like the Renault Duster, but with upgraded interiors. However, at a base price of Rs 10 lakh in Indian rupees, the car does feel a little under-equipped, especially with the price of the higher models matching up with the XUV 500, which is proven to be a much better SUV. Time now to take a little breather, but on the other side, we have a very special story lined up just for you. Stay tuned with us and don't go anywhere. Welcome back to WION Pitstop, where we take you through all the latest rumblings on wheels. Time now to move on to our next segment, Cruise, where we take a leisurely cruise through one of the most royal histories of automobile. Royal Enfield holds a special place in India's motorcycling history. One of the oldest brands still in existence today, it has managed to perfectly capture the imagination of several bikers out there. Now, our next story isn't just any old feature story. In fact, it's a WION Pitstop special, a tribute to the legend that Royal Enfield is.
Compared to other brands, the legacy that this brand has, the stories, the people, I think that is the biggest factor of how Royal Enfield is doing pretty well in India and as well across in other countries as well. Because everyone wants to be closer to that legacy. Because somehow everyone knows a Royal Enfield story. Everyone will know someone from their family who has a Royal Enfield, who used to ride a lot. So in that way, everyone starts getting closer to that brand through those stories, through those tales that people are sharing of their roads and travels. I think in that way, yes, this brand, that's why it's working so well in India as well.
It took me a while really to develop that kind of emotional bonding with my bike. Initially, I had been one of those riders who would think there's just a machine, how can you name your bike and how can you be so emotional about your motorcycle. But when you really start spending time with your machine, and especially when you start going, say, alone on a long ride, it's just you and your motorcycle, and you start feeling it like it's like having a baby. You would just know what's wrong with the baby, and even if the baby behaves a little absurdly, you would still love him.
Royal Enfield has a special place in the annals of India's motorcycling history. One of the oldest brands in existence in the world, it was first introduced in India in 1949. Its influence on Indian motorcycling was so strong that many Indians would have either started out riding a Royal Enfield or experienced one at some point in their lives. It was Royal Enfield which gave birth to the concept of leisure motorcycling in India. Their bikes possessed an inherent sturdiness and relatively simple mechanicals, which meant they could be ridden anywhere without much trouble. Earlier, the company had only a few models in their range, which were brought by a niche segment of consumers. Today, the company goes beyond the iconic Bullet to cater to a wider audience. Royal Enfield's range now encompasses 4 distinct product lines. The quintessential Bullet, the retro classic, the modern Thunderbird, and the sporty Cafe Racer. Though Royal Enfield, the company, was originally born in the UK, the brand image transformation has been successfully carried over by Indian owners after the company exited UK market back in 1967. So much so that Royal Enfield is now blindly known as Indian Origin Company. That itself is a big testimony of company's India-centric operations.
You realize that yes, this is one motorcycle which takes you new places, new destinations. They have a lovely story to share after their ride, and somehow that love for that brand always grew day by day, year on year. And when finally you get your own Royal Enfield, I think things obviously change. You start off by going to Leh and Ladakh, because if you buy a Royal Enfield and you don't go to Leh Ladakh, you're not a rider. So that's what always worked out for me. Me and my friends, I think being close to my passion also worked out really well. And yeah, I think the love for Enfield grew over the years. And when you get the bike, you just eventually love exploring new places.
I feel chill when the wind blows on.
No matter what you hear from some people, the ground reality is that Royal Enfield has millions of die-hard fans, not only in India but abroad as well.
It tells me that it's all okay. And now I know I'm not alone anymore. Step aside, the beast is here.
Plus, Royal Enfield riders are probably the most brand-loyal customers too.
To ride this fear, if you do.
No, any regular novice biker would wait 5 to 8 months to get delivery of his new bike.
So bright, we can't get near.
Royal Enfield is constantly registering 40 to 55% year-on-year growth for the last 3 years.
Drop the gear and disappear.
It has already surpassed global giant Harley-Davidson by selling over 3 million units in 2014.
Step aside, the beast is here.
And due to high demand, the current average waiting period of a Royal Enfield bike is 5 months. Royal Enfield motorcycles are now sold in more than 50 countries worldwide. With such great traction, it only means that better bikes, better technology and better products are gonna come in the near future.
When the sun comes out and the moon goes down.
Internationally, Royal Enfield has been working equally hard. Recently, the company announced its first exclusive stores in Madrid and Paris. In fact, the bike maker is expanding its presence in the European markets with over 80 dealerships across France and 25 in Spain.
To ride this fear, come along, the road is on and on.
Last year, it had announced its entry in the Indonesian market at Gaikindo Indonesia International Auto Show 2015.
The road is long, it goes nowhere.
The company will also soon commence retail operations in Indonesia via its exclusive dealership in Jakarta.
I'm not racing, I'm a more relaxed rider. That's why an Enfield works for me. I think that's why most Enfields are working for a lot of riders, because they're going to new places, they're going to places which are far off, bad roads, and somehow this bike pulls it off because it takes a lot of beating, bashing, and once you come back, the highlight being the servicing is not so expensive compared to any other brand. You can just have the bike brand new with all fixing and everything, and it will not burn your wallet as well.
Step aside, the beast is here.
Royal Enfield also organizes and supports many enthusiast activities, events and rides across the country. More prominently, the Rider Mania. An annual gathering of Royal Enfield riders from all over the country and the Himalayan Odyssey, the largest motorcycle ride over some of the toughest roads and highest mountain passes in the region of Himachal and Ladakh.
The road is on and on. Drop the gear and disappear.
Rider Mania and Himalayan Tour celebrate the real spirit of Royal Enfield and its legacy. Being a part of such community events will definitely make you a better rider and a humble human being. You will meet the nicest people in the motorcycling fraternity with the same strong commitment towards their passion and traveling goals.
I can't express how you make me feel, the way you look at me.
That's all that we had for you in this week's episode of WION Pitstop. Do remember to write to us. Our Twitter handle is WION_Pitstop. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube page. This week's episode comes to you from Harley-Davidson showroom in New Delhi. Until next time, keep cruising, keep riding. This is Nick Bontial signing off.